All right,
There.
good evening, everybody. We are going right now. Back with you for episode number 16 of the Freshman Parking Lot Podcast. Brad, you're out of fingers. You can't do 16 on your fingers.
In the words of Michael Jordan, we're back.
We're back. That's right. We're missing somebody. We're missing our Michael Jordan. Justin Fry is out tonight, getting some stuff ready for work tomorrow. But I'm Brian Bosch, and Brad Geffert is with us, and we're going to do, I think we're planning a little bit of an abbreviated show, but we never quite know how long we're going to go.
So, well, a couple things. One, I'd like to just say that tonight's episode 16, is brought to you by the Sioux Center Farmers Cooperative and DeKalb Seed Corn. So out in Center, Iowa, they're sending us some freebies. So we'll keep promoting them on the show tonight. And thank you to Jared Terpstra running the Sioux Center Farmers Co-op in Sioux Center, Iowa. So with that, though, tonight, I do feel like we have to start with the man we're down, Mr. Fry, Justin Fry. There's so much I want to run by him because, well, he's our Corona man. He hasn't been wrong yet with coronavirus. We've got Big Ten coming back. A lot of coronavirus talk around that. Well, maybe Big Ten coming back. We can talk about that a little bit. But I feel like he might be a better employee and a better parent than I am. His statement was that he has got a lot to do at home with the family and stuff to get ready for school. And the opposite is true for me. I still have a lot of stuff to do. But this was like, I just needed this as my release this week. So thank you, Brian, for this. And
I would 100% agree with you on the release. Like, I kind of unloaded on you today at school, and I unloaded on people in my department in an email at school, and I unloaded on another person on the phone at school, not yelling at any of you, but just kind of yelling to you about some stressors. And I was kind of looking forward to this as a way to kind of de-stress. So I'm with you on that one.
All right. And I don't have a cool background tonight. I usually pride myself on having something cool. By the way, you have the coolest tonight. For those of you that don't know, I'm in the middle of a move. Our family is building a home, and we're like 3 weeks out from move-in day. Hopefully 2 weeks, but we'll see how that goes. So I've got everything in boxes, and back here there's some extra boxes ready to go for the rest. So Brian or anybody out there, for our 14 loyal listeners, if you've got a strong back and a weak mind on Saturday morning, I've got some heavy stuff to load into a truck. So.
Well, we all know I've got a weak mind, but I don't know about the strong back.
Hey, Brian, you sent me the article today about Big Ten. What's your feelings on the possibility of Big Ten coming back and playing some games?
So the possibility is extremely exciting. We've been planning Badger Saturdays in the driveway/garage all summer long. Super excited to do neighborhood tailgates with the Red Heeker Rangers, and anybody else that wants to crash our party is more than welcome in Bosch's Beer Garden and Riddell's Roadhouse. But it's just strange. For those of you who are listening outside of Wisconsin, we have something called Channel 3000 here in Wisconsin, and it's a Wisconsin-based online news corporation, right? Is that accurate?
Yeah.
That could be a win in Rome, right? Where do you go to get your Wisconsin school closings in the wintertime? Channel 3000. But they're the only article I've seen on this. There's articles about the Nebraska president or chancellor getting caught on a hot mic with some things, but ESPN, the Score app, none of them seem to have anything reported other than we think sometime Tuesday, which, by the way, it's Tuesday right now, 8:52 on Tuesday night, that we might have an announcement coming. So super excited, but also like, what are we doing here?
And for those who don't know, I'm an avid Dan Patrick fan. There's not a day that goes by I don't listen to Dan. And he's been preaching this for 3 weeks, that the Big Ten commissioners are going to come back. They're going to take another vote, but they're not going to vote until they know they have the 9 votes that they need, which I'm not sure why it's 9, if it's majority plus 1 or what that is, but I've heard 9 votes needed. But those that vote no don't have to play. Those that vote yes can play, which is the opposite of when they took the no vote. There was 2 schools that voted yes, and they still were told they couldn't play.
Yeah. And
So,
it's also odd, like, first of all, your math is flawed. Majority plus one would be 8, but
okay, so yeah, why not?
but anyway, I get what you're saying. It's strange to me, like, we're not going to vote until we have the votes. Then why vote at all? Just go and do it.
Right.
The decision seems like it's been made, and a few weeks ago they said starting Thanksgiving weekend, and now this article says starting as soon as October 17th, an 8
That's
game
inaccurate.
season within a course of 9 weeks, a Big Ten title game, I think, like December 19th, and then being eligible for the college football playoff.
Right. And I love how they're setting this up, and all the reports that I've heard has said, well, so Ohio State can show their value and get a spot in the playoff. And I can't wait till, if this goes through and we play out this abbreviated season and Wisconsin wins out and Wisconsin gets that over Ohio State when this is supposedly being pushed because Ohio State wants a chance to play the playoff. So, I am not an Ohio State fan in any way, shape, or form, and I would love to see this just blow up and backfire in their faces with Wisconsin getting a shot at it over Ohio State.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree with that. And I think honestly, I don't think it's even a 1 or a 2 team league. I think, Penn State is a legitimate team. You never know about Michigan. I don't think the Gophers have enough, but from what they showed through 8 or 9 games last season, you never know. I think it's become a stronger league in the last few years.
For sure. Um,
It,
I I love the chance that they could come back. I loved watching football this weekend. Um, I watched a few games on Saturday on and off. I watched one game all the way through. Um, but I really miss Justin, because I need Justin's perspective to bring me back to reality and tell me why it's a terrible idea that we're playing college football in the middle of a pandemic, right? So
well, I think the way that they're doing it, I don't know if it's is. I mean, they're all still on campus. They're all still working out. If you watched most of those games, there was 0 or very few fans in the stands. Like, I think, I don't know. Maybe I want to hope that it's okay.
except the K-State student section.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
So the rest of the stands look very well spaced out. They would pan to this area, and they never gave like really good close-ups, but it was behind the opponent's bench, and you could tell it was a student section. They had them spaced out every other row, it looked like, but within that row, they were like sardines packed in, and must have been fairly warm because the co-eds on campus also maybe didn't have much covering on. So I don't know if that helps or inhibits the spread of coronavirus.
Um, I'm
Probably
gonna
doesn't.
choose. I'm gonna choose D. So, hey, Brad, you're breaking up here. Hold on. All right, I think we're back. Nate fell asleep in the truck out there. We had some technical difficulties. Guy's struggling. So Brad, just to wrap up the college football thing with the Big Ten, would you bet an amount of money that matters to you, as Mike Greenberg used to say, that the Big Ten is back October 17th?
Yeah, I would say yes on the 17th. I think they will get a start. I will bet that $46 because that's important to me, and we'll go from there. Speaking of 46, I guess maybe it's 45. Would you bet $45,000 on Phil Mickelson to win the U.S. Open at Winged Foot to, I guess, get you maybe 3.3 million with a 75-1 odds?
Well, I would have to probably sell both my vehicle and my wife's and then deplete the savings. And I might have the money to bet. No. This is a great story. Have you seen that Phil sees this bet on Twitter? He says, Hey, I hope for both of our sakes that I have a 3-shot lead on 18 because he's thinking he's going to choke on 18 if it's not 3 shots or more.
Well, and I'm guessing the course itself, Wingfoot, I've done a little bit of looking at it. They've played there, historically in the past. They've had some rounds there, and I'm guessing it would eat you up pretty well, right? So if
Well,
you don't have
me,
that good lead, I don't
yes.
think anybody, if a professional major winner is even the slightest worried, I'd hate to see what a couple hacks like you and me would do out on that course.
Well, and I mean, any course that they get ready for the U.S. Open, they make it just impossibly hard. And now you're in a situation where they've had extra months to make it hard because it's been pushed back into the fall. Who knows? I mean, what's the winning score? Are we talking even par this weekend?
I think there'll be 3 or 4 guys in the red, but I don't know if any of them will be named Phil Mickelson. I like Phil Mickelson. I think
Yeah.
it's fun that they can joke around about gambling in golf, right? If that was any other league, I think there would be some major red flags and some commissioners like getting a little bit angry at it. But because it's golf and because it's more individualized and they're trying to, all right, sure, whatever, joke around about it, throw a couple bills down on it.
Honestly, I was surprised that it was being discussed publicly because of that very thing.
Yeah.
Now, if I were betting, I would bet on Dustin Johnson because he just seems to be on fire right now.
Yeah. So speaking of betting, if I said the over-under was 130 for your score on 18, could you better 130 for $500?
On a U.S. Open ready course?
Wingfoot from the tips.
And like this week?
Yeah, right now.
Probably not.
I don't think from the tips, I don't think I could.
Probably not.
I mean, I'm a solid 20, 25 handicap.
Hold on. Do I get to use Vaseline on the club face?
You can use whatever you want on it. It doesn't make a difference.
The Vaseline makes a difference. I don't know if it's making
it does, but not there. We'll have to bring in our resident golfer and sponsor of tonight's show, Jared Terpstra, for a post Wingfoot discussion maybe next week, and
that could be fun.
How bad he would play there as well.
First guest that's been outside of the state.
Ooh, hey, we're diversifying our audiences.
That would be the first guest that's been off of my street.
Speaking of off the beaten path, $5.5 billion, the LA Rams stadium, Brian. You are a business teacher. You are a marketing man. How do you make that money up?
You don't. And there was an article several years ago that nearly all, like an astronomical percentage of these corporations that buy the naming rights of these stadiums end up losing money and going bankrupt or having major financial problems shortly after doing that. I'm not saying that SoFi, who's SoFi Stadium, is responsible for $5.5 billion, but I don't understand how, and I don't know the breakdown of public money and private money. I think this one had a lot of private money, but I don't understand how that investment ever repays itself other than maybe prices in LA are so out of whack with what we're used to.
And what's the benefit, like, right? Like, are you just
so you're not making money right now because it's sitting empty.
Right. Well, and they do those nice, picturesque of the SoFi, logo on top of the stadium. To be honest with you, I didn't know what SoFi was, right? Like,
I think it's a loan company, like a loan consolidation company.
So it wasn't that didn't have that name recognition for me, but what did have the recognition were those sweet, sweet Rams uniforms. They had that electric blue a little old with a little new, just mixed together in this like beautiful mixture of awesomeness on the
Well,
field.
I sure am glad, Brad, that first of all, I wholeheartedly disagree with you. I sure am glad that they had the electric blue because they had like the laundry person couldn't get the uniforms clean, white, gray. They looked like they were 15 years old JV uniforms that haven't been washed in 5 years. I
Mixed
hated them.
with new. I did hear the term a dirty martini used when describing the
It looked
uniforms.
like a pool that needed to be shocked.
I thought it was a cool light gray.
Here's why maybe I'm really disappointed. I don't like them. I think they're either too light gray or they're just a dirty white. They need to be either gray or white. But why I really don't like them is I think the helmet decal, because I was under the impression that when they moved into the new stadium, they were going back to the old when they were the LA Rams the first time. And what they did is they kind of sort of went back to the color scheme and then changed the logo.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. I don't like it.
I liked it. I might be the only person in America that liked it because I've heard a lot of people ripping on it across coast to coast. But I will never cheer for the Rams. I just thought their jerseys were cool, and it was great to watch some football this weekend. And I'm not going to pour any salt in the wounds, but man, was it great seeing the Packers top the Vikings. So
you know what I love about Packer fans is all of a sudden the Packers beat the Vikings and they forget that they're also Bucks fans who just choked like the biggest of choke jobs in NBA history. And they forget that they thought the Brewers were great. And on Sunday, the Brewers got no hit. They got beat 12-0 and they made 3 errors. And they forget. They're just like, well, it doesn't matter. The Packers.
you got to ride. You got to make hay when the sun shines, Brian.
I guess you do. I guess you do.
It's the air of recency, man. What's the most recent thing in my mind right now? It wasn't that. I mean, it's football season.
And
right
if the Packers had lost and the Bucks had won, they say, who cares? We'll worry about the Packers when the Bucks are done.
Well, and I sent you the message that this weekend to me felt like what probably when baseball came back for you. And I think part of that is just my love of football. But the other part of it is I don't have cable. I don't have, live streaming internet services. So I get whatever is on the Farmer 5. And NBA basketball or MLB baseball don't do a good job of getting their product out in the free market. So what I get to watch is maybe some Twitter highlights, Instagram, something that I see online, or that random game, Major League Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon game, couple basketball games, but there's honestly more hockey televised right now than those. And this weekend with football, like I was just salivating all week. My boys loved watching some football, even Piper, and part of it might have been she's my 7-year-old, didn't want to go to bed Saturday night so she could sit on my lap and watch some football. So I think she was just playing it up that she didn't really want to go to bed. But hey, she said she enjoyed football. I'll take her for her word, and we were watching some football.
Hey, she wanted to watch Trevor and Dabo. Lay it on them.
That's right. So, by the way, I don't know why we're on this gambling kick. I told you I needed some.
Neither one of us gamble at all.
I said I wanted Clemson with the under. I got the under, but darn it, Clemson had to give up that late touchdown, and I didn't get the cover on that. So,
well, and actually, let's talk a little bit more gambling. I think it was that Rams game. Did that game end with a field goal late that didn't matter?
Yes.
So Al Michaels is in the booth, and he goes, he just kind of slides it in there, and I can't believe that they let him do it. It just seems kind of like it should raise red flags. But
he always talks gambling.
He does.
Great.
The total score was sitting at 51. He goes, and he just goes, well, it's at 51 right now. This field goal, I'm sure it means something to someone. They kick the field goal. It goes to 54. I go to my phone. I look it up. The over-under was 53.
Yep.
And somebody else told me that what they were looking at was 53.5. So, like, first of all, Al Michaels is dialed in. Second of all, they've built an empire out in the desert because they're really good at what they do.
Oh, it's amazing how well sports gamblers can get that number on the dime every time, right?
It's
And I
just
must say,
crazy.
9 out of 10 times they are right there, and they will hold you till the end of the game.
Yep.
So, speaking of hold you till the end, you were ripping on the Brewers and the Bucks pretty well, but I don't think the closing situation in Minnesota is real good at the end of the game right now, is it?
Wow. Taylor Rogers. Buddy, you were real good last year. Taylor Rogers, you're not real good right now. Twins closer, and Rocco, if you're listening, which you might be because you don't seem to be doing a lot of managing right now, geez, quit putting that guy into important situations. He blew another one last night. From what I understand, the game's probably not. He's not going to get a chance to blow one tonight because it's already blown. They're struggling right now.
So, hey, speaking of important situations, my would you rather of the week, and I have these random thoughts that go in my mind, and it really had to do with number twos. And my thought was, my initial question to you this week was going to be, would you rather be number two in the United States or the vice president, or would you rather be number two on your favorite football team? But I didn't
Being
think
like
that was
a backup
fair
quarterback?
question. Yeah. So would you rather be a backup quarterback or the vice president of the United States? But I thought that was too easy because who wouldn't want to be that backup quarterback?
I agree. Yeah.
So then I went backup quarterback, or what would you rather be? Would you rather be a back quarterback or the all-pro punter?
Okay, I want to make sure I'm hearing you
Now
right
he just froze.
because we're breaking up here. Did you say bad quarterback or all-pro punter?
Would you rather be a backup quarterback or an all-pro punter?
Backup quarterback or all-pro punter? Okay. I think the backup quarterback still makes more money. And the backup quarterback is everybody's favorite player on the roster because they're always clamoring for him anytime it goes bad. And the punter comes on the field when we don't do well. So I think the backup quarterback.
Well, the punter is the best in their position. I figured you'd go with being the best at something.
Because of rhythmic gymnastics.
So my answer, I think, is the same as yours, but for different reasoning. If you are a backup quarterback in the NFL, you had a stud college career, and you were the stud quarterback on a college campus somewhere in the United States. So for that reason, I will take that stud college career and be a number two.
You want to be the BMOC.
The stud college punter. Yes.
That's true. They don't. All right. When in Rome. Brad, not growing up here, but now living here, there are a lot of really what I'll call lame and or obscure Packer celebrity appearances around the state at car dealerships or at different things. There's a tire place just north of us in Johnson Creek that has Lynn Dickey as their spokesperson. What's the lamest one you've heard?
Oh, well, Lynn Dickey's got his name on it. You stop in my office. I've got a Lynn Dickey signed autograph football in my office right now. I thoroughly thought it was hilarious that Gilbert Brown goes around to campgrounds around Wisconsin doing a car show. So I will go with that one, a classic car show by Gilbert Brown in these grass lots at campgrounds.
Okay. And now, see, this is how I'm not a Packers fan. So is it Leroy Glover or Leroy Butler?
Leroy Butler.
He's at everything.
For sure. But he...
Dude, I couldn't even remember his last name.
He does hang out with Gilbert Brown and does a lot of the same spots as Gilbert Brown as well.
Okay.
My other one was one night my wife and I had a date night, and we went to Water Street in Milwaukee, and we sat down, and it was this crowded restaurant. We put our name on the list. They said, we can go sit at the bar. I just go and sit at the bar. I'm in one spot. My wife's here, and we're talking, and I look over my shoulder, and right behind me at the bar was Gilbert Brown. So
he's a big human.
He's a large human being. So I've got like my phone out. I'm trying to like take a picture of myself with Gilbert Brown in the background. It was terrible. I felt like a bad, terrible fan. I should just tap on the shoulder like, hey, can I use your picture? And then just get it over with. Instead, I just reveled with it for the next half hour, like trying to get him in the background with me.
Yeah, he would have loved it. He does car shows and campgrounds, for crying out loud.
Probably make him buy me a drink. You know how big his drinks must be?
Oh, all right. Well, hey, that I think wraps it up for us.
Sponsorship of
What's that?
I said he didn't get the sponsorship from Farmers Co-op in Sioux Center, Iowa, with the DeKalb sponsorship tonight. So thank you, DeKalb Seed Corn and the Farmers Cooperative of Sioux Center, Iowa.
Yeah, the golf segment was brought to us by that joyful sponsor. Hey, remember, you can follow us on Twitter at Frosh Parking Lot. You can get into the Facebook group, Freshman Parking Lot. Email the show, freshmanparkinglot@gmail.com. And follow us on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, The Freshman Parking Lot. Until next week, take care. I hope all your bets pay off this weekend, and we'll see you next week for episode number 17.